My stepson is 11 and at his school they have these annual events, father-son camping, mother-daughter cooking etc. Late last year they held a mother and son race where the mother had to run across the field and piggyback their son's back to the other side and then tie her legs together and just sprint back across. A week prior my stepson Dylan was talking about it and how he thought it was ridiculous and embarrassing. When I looked at their poster for it, it looked fun, so I convinced him to sign up for it. Later that day I called his mother Julie, but she didn't pick up, so I left a voicemail talking about the event and asking her to get back to us if she is available. 5 days passed, and still no word from her. Being honest, when she didn't respond, I saw it as an opportunity for Dylan and I to bond, but since I respect Julie as his mother I sent her an email, doesn't use social media, with a poster and talking about how Dylan has signed up for it. 2 days passed and still nothing. So I went to Dylan and told him that his mother hadn't gotten back to me, but if he was okay with it, I was willing to step in since it was too late to pull out. He was a bit disappointed but still fine. The day came and it was a blast. Tiresome but definitely worth it. It was just so much fun and I made a few friends there who were also stepmothers. And obviously we won first place and got 2 medals. Dylan also enjoyed it and feels way more comfortable with me now. While I was browsing the school's website last week, I saw a picture from that day with me running and Dylan cheering on my back. It was a cute picture, so I downloaded it and made it my profile picture. Turns out one of Julie's friends showed her the picture, and now she's going on a rant about how I shouldn't have done that and how I've overstepped my mark as his stepmother. When I told her I called her and sent an email, she went on saying that I should have sent her a text or called her again instead of just once. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If she didn't reply to one text or a mail, why would she respond to another one? Incredibly rude on her part to leave your messages unread. You stepped in when she let her son down, and that's something your stepson will remember. Where's your husband in all of this? Why is he letting his ex talk to you like this? You've reached out to her multiple times and she had not responded. So rather than having your stepson be sad because he could not compete, you decided to step up after respecting that his mother would have maybe liked to join him and you both had a good time. The only thing that I would see as questionable is you posting the picture of you and the kid. I am not saying that posting the picture makes you an idiot, but more in the context of how much his parents post him on their social media, but that could easily be resolved if you discussed posting the picture with your partner and the agreements they made on this matter. Not the idiot. You did not plan this but took an opportunity. Even if you had suspected you would be stepping in for his mom when you had him sign up, you made a couple attempts to contact his mom. I am guessing that she may have you blocked or sees it's you and ignores your communications anyway, so it is on her. I think it's great you won. As long as you don't actively put his mom down to him, you are golden. I'm 29, my partner is 25, and my coworker is about 22. My coworker, who I'll call Tiffany, is one of those likable but flaky people. She's nice, but she's a bit of an airhead. Tiffany got unexpectedly pregnant a year before we started working together, and the father is not involved. I know this because tends to make vent posts on social media that are open to anyone who's following her. She posts a lot about issues with her kid because her kid has a disability. My partner loves kids. He's a social worker and he raised his siblings growing up. I think his ideal family would be the Brady Bunch. I don't want kids, so we compromised by getting a dog. He saw one of her posts about 3 years ago and DM'd her telling her that he's helped kids with her kid's disability and he'd be happy to give her some advice. Since then, he's been very involved with her and her kid's life. Pre-quarantine, he would go over all the time and help out and stay on the phone with her when she was having a crisis. I never had any problem with it because her kid has a lot of issues and I know Tiffany was drowning in it. I also want to say I've never been jealous at all because, although my partner also likes women, he's bisexual, he's just like this. Anyway, during quarantine, the relationship has started to annoy me more. Tiffany and her kid will FaceTime my partner while we're watching a movie so he can tell the kid a bedtime story. He'll tell me that he misses seeing Tiffany and the kid because they're like family to him. When we finally went back to work yesterday, Tiffany told me how much her child misses my partner and how all the things he's been doing for them have been really getting them through the hard times. I agreed that what my partner was doing was nice, but then I told her that, if her kid is missing him, the relationship is starting to get unhealthy. My partner is not your child's father, and he shouldn't be taking that place in their life. I told my partner, and he said I was being an idiot. He said that the kid could only benefit from having a good male role model, and if the kid sees him as a father figure, there's nothing wrong with that. He also apologized to Tiffany. I don't really see where what I did was wrong. Creating boundaries is important. Am I the idiot? You're the idiot. Seriously, he wants a child and you compromise by getting a dog. Tiffany's child does not have a father as the father took off. Your boyfriend loves that child. That child loves your boyfriend. You do not want children yourself. Why are you preventing a man without a child and a child without a father from developing a deep bond with each other? I will tell you what. You marry the dog and live happily ever after, and your partner marries Tiffany and raises her child, and they have other children together, and you all love happily ever after. You and your partner should have had a conversation about boundaries before you unilaterally decided Tiffany and her kid were taking up too much of your partner's time. It's understandable that you're hurt by your partner dropping what you're doing together to attend to the kid, and there's no shame in that, but did you talk to him about it before you went off on Tiffany? It sounds like the two of you are overdue for a long conversation not only about his relationship with Tiffany and her kid, but about what each of you want from each other and out of life. If you can, maybe sit down for some marriage or relationship counseling sessions. Not the idiot. I think you'd be okay with a relationship if there were some boundaries involved, but there aren't, and this woman is invading the time you spend with your partner. That's not okay. If you want to compromise, you need to tell your partner that you're not okay with him getting phone calls all the time and having responsibilities relating to the kid that negatively affect your relationship. My half-sister is 9 years older and share a dad. She never really got along with my mom, so she was not around much when I was a kid. Through her college time and moving as an adult, she would disappear from my life for long stretches of time. If I stopped reaching out, I wouldn't hear from her. I once tested this and didn't hear from her for the better part of a year before I caved and texted her. She's not an unkind person. I've lived with her twice briefly, and when I'm at her home and in close physical proximity to her, we have such a fun relationship. I look up to her and love her so much. She's super sweet and kind and generous when it's convenient to be. Basically, if I'm not physically in her life, I just don't fit into it. Last summer I found out I was pregnant. I called my sister and she didn't pick up. That was not atypical, but I was so excited after my ultrasound I wanted to tell her right away. Usually it would take her forever to return a call, if at all, so to pique interest I sent a link to the ultrasound photos from my appointment by text and excitedly waited. I waited all day for a reply with nothing. It's not that she just doesn't have her phone on her. When I lived with her, I saw that she always had it. A day later she replied. Her response was anger that I would tell her about my pregnancy by text. I felt ashamed and embarrassed, but also mad. Mad that it took her days to return a text, but also mad at myself for caring so much about telling someone my happy news who didn't care. I didn't reply. And the longer I didn't reply, the harder it got to reply. She never followed up or said another word either. So there it sat for months of silence. In March of this year, when I was 8 months pregnant with COVID looming, I broke down and sent her a text to ask if she was okay. It took days for her to reply and say she was fine. She didn't ask how I was. Didn't say anything about my pregnancy. I was hurt again and didn't respond. My son was born the next month and I didn't even bother to tell her. My sister texted me when my son was 2 months old to invite me to my nephew's graduation party. I was flabbergasted. She didn't ask about me or the baby. Another 2 months passed and she texted again, expressing that she was disappointed that I didn't show for her son's graduation. She also threw in that it had been almost a year since we had spoken and asked how the baby was doing. He was 4 months old before she finally acknowledged him. But she doesn't even know if I had a boy or girl. We aren't on social media and she doesn't talk to our dad. I still haven't spoken to her and she hasn't tried to reach out again. Am I the idiot for not being the bigger person here? I feel bad for wanting her to reach out so badly, then ignoring her when she finally did. I genuinely am not sure if my silence has made me the idiot here. I'm going to say not the idiot here. I'm reminded of a lesson about picking switches. You can only do it for so long before you need to realize you're too big to be switched. She is holding your need for her attention hostage. You're allowing her to switch you in penance for her relationship with your mother and shared father. Stop picking switches and drop the rope. Everyone's the idiot here. You both are the idiots at communication. For God's sake, just call her and have a heart-to-heart. No attacking or going on the defense. For some reason your text hurt her, and you two never talked it out. Had she known you sent her the text because you wanted her to be the first to know, then she would have changed her tone. Now you're both just swapping pain while not talking. By the way, she sounds like a person who has a low social IQ and have a hard time keeping in touch with people, only calling when she has a reason. No idiots here. She sounds like she is making attempts to make amends with you, but is busy with her own life too. It also sounds like she cares about you, but isn't particularly interested in the baby. A lot of people are not particularly interested in other people's babies. If this is something you can be okay with, then great, see what she has to say. If it's important to you that she's interested in the baby, then don't. My sister just recently had a baby and is currently on maternity leave. She and brother-in-law are kinda hippie types, and I don't mean that in a bad way, just in that they love the outdoors and don't use any kind of social media or play any video games, and they used to be anti-vaxxers, but thank God not anymore. Anyway, my sister and brother-in-law have made it very clear they don't want any pictures of their daughter on the internet. This came as no surprise to me, but my mom complained about it excessively throughout my sister's whole pregnancy. Regardless, my sister stood her ground, with brother-in-law backing her up. Earlier this week, I was derping around on my phone at work and saw my mom had posted a picture of my niece on Facebook. I immediately messaged her and told her she needed to take the picture down. She ignored me for a couple hours, so then I texted my sister with screenshots because I knew she wouldn't know about it any other way. Needless to say, my sister was pissed. When I got home from work, my dad took me aside and chewed my butt out about disrespect. I told him I thought it was disrespectful for my mom to post that picture, knowing that my sister and brother-in-law aren't okay with it, and then he just went on a speech about my house, my rules, which is shame because he's technically right. I want to move out so bad, but student loans and COVID won't let me do it. My sister and brother-in-law obviously side with me, but now I have extended family blowing up my inbox because the photo was taken down before a lot of them could see it. I've just ignored them, which is making my mom even more mad at me, but I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to say that will make anyone happy. My dad stopped giving a crap about the situation roughly 2 beers after the initial butt chewing, so home life isn't bad, except my mom being cold towards me. But my Facebook inbox is an utter dumpster fire at the moment, so I need to know, am I the idiot? Should I have just stayed out of it? Let's go by parts. For starters, it's the baby's parents who decides if they want to share pics of their babies with anyone and with who. Posting them online gives them no control of who sees them. Second, your mom posted it without permission, which makes her more at fault than you. Third, if your sister wanted to share it with the family, she could have sent the pics through WhatsApp or other apps. The only thing you did was to point out the problem and make sure that everyone involved got aware of it, so you are not the idiot. You have nothing to feel bad about. Your mom was disrespectful in posting pictures your sister clearly didn't want on social media. She needs to deal with those consequences, and don't bother with the people messaging you about it. Most likely your mom said it was taken down because of what you said, and everyone is ignoring the fact that your mom didn't respect her adult daughter's wishes. Not the idiot, give it time and hopefully things will get better. Not the idiot. Without a doubt. Your sister and brother-in-law are the baby's guardians, and guardians get to make those decisions, not the guardian's parents. That's not how it works. The rest of your family giving you a hard time is also not appropriate. I'm not a parent yet, but I don't want my kids all over social media either, so having someone like you on my corner would be amazing. I have been paying legal fees for my niece Ariel, 20. She has been fighting over Cody, 2, with her ex Bo, 21. Bo comes from a wealthy family, and his parents got him a Laura Wasser type attorney. To level the playing field, I got her a similar caliber lawyer. There is no end in sight. The first time they went to court, Ariel was still breastfeeding, so Bo got frequent visits but no overnights. That changed when their son turned 1 and started getting him for extended periods overnight. When he turned 2, the court ordered a 50-50 split. They are under temporary orders that have been modified as their son has gotten older. This has dragged on, and both sides will play games with each other. COVID has delayed their trial dates, and the kids' own actions have delayed this being resolved. They have no problem running up thousands of dollars in legal fees since they are not paying. Beau brings his girlfriend who he cheated on Ariel with to pick up their son. Ariel has written posts on social media about how she just saw her ex taking his bulldog out for a walk. Beau went to pick up their son, and Ariel would not answer the door. Beau calls me and says Ariel violated the court order. His lawyer will be in touch. I was so beyond frustrated. Ariel has been difficult, but this is the first time she has violated a court order. I called her and screamed at her over the phone. I told her to get her butt in the car and take Cody to his dad's and to come to my office because we were having a come to Jesus talk. The minute I saw her I put her on blast. I told her she was a mom and to grow the hell up. I don't know what triggered her and Beau's latest fight and I did not care. I told her she was going to settle this case once and for all, and if she did not there would be no more financial support. I said to get a reality check and she was not getting primary custody. I was done. Beau's lawyer has already offered to settle, and I read the settlement proposal, and it was very fair for both sides, and their son can be with both equal time. Basically making the temporary order permanent with some tweaks. Ariel stormed out saying I did not understand and I was taking Beau's side. Now I am getting bombarded with calls from my sister and other family members that I cannot pull my financial support. I told all of them off and said they can pay her legal fees. My sister says the fight needs to end, but keeps saying Ariel's lawyer has been able to keep the rich idiots in check. Beau and his parents made threats early on about burying Ariel in court, but recently have been wanting to settle. I've had some time to calm down, and I have been going over the past couple of days and have been rethinking if I should pull my financial support. Am I the idiot for trying to force Ariel to settle? Not the idiot. Your niece is barely out of childhood herself, so it's understandable that she is being dramatic and unreasonable because she isn't on the hook for the bill. She can't keep treating you like her own personal ATM. It's more than reasonable for you to force her to settle. If she's really that interested in being so litigious, she can pay for it herself. The settlement is fair, and she may not get such a good deal later on down the line. Not the idiot, as it was very kind and generous for you to fund her legal fees. The only question you need to ask yourself is Cody safe and healthy at his dad's? If the answer is yes, then you need to tell your niece that she has to settle or fund the case herself. 50-50 is the what is best if both parents are safe, healthy and happy homes. It seems that they have used custody as a means to get back or even with each other, and that's not fair to Cody or to the people funding it. You weren't responsible for her fees, yet you paid them. You're a good person, and you have the right to cut support whenever you want. That battle has been going on too long and it's time it ends. Maybe if your niece cannot afford her current lawyer, she will be forced to go for one who cannot keep up the argument. This might make her rethink that settlement deal.